All right, so I need to share the participant screen. How do I do that? This is very interesting.
While you're doing that, I'm going to do a Google search to see if I can find some help there.
Okay, do that. Let's see what that is. Meeting information. What is this right here? You are using enhanced encryption. Oh, that's a wonderful thing.
Okay, so Renee, listen to this.
Okay.
So it says, start your Zoom meeting as the host, which you just did.
Yes.
That click the upward arrow to the right of the share screen.
Gotcha.
And then it says, then select multiple participants.
Gotcha. All right, I just did that. See now if you can share your screen.
Okay, hang on.
I just did that.
Yeah, let me get rid of this now.
Boy, that daggum Google knows everything, doesn't he?
I'm telling you, boy. And it looks like
he knows everything.
So you see that now?
I can, and it's beautiful.
Okay, perfect.
I can see the whole thing. It takes up my entire screen. So
yeah, good. And that's what I was hoping, because I don't know, it always looks different from the presenter side. So I was hoping that it would in fact take up the whole screen.
Okay, so we are recording right now, which is, you know, beforehand. So once you see the recording, hopefully we can edit us out and start at the beginning. But I don't want to turn the recording off. So
okay, no problem.
It's recording now. It's just recording you and I talking about this, but that's okay. We can edit later.
Yeah, and it's also doing the video as well.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, so actually, I'll show you, because I was doing that earlier, and I'm so glad your insight is terrific. Oh, wait a minute, I just said.
No, this is your insight.
see these files right here?
Yes.
So that Zoom MP4, that's what it's going to create, that has the audio and the video. So you'll look for that. Are you on a Mac?
Yes, I am on a Mac.
Okay, so as soon as I ended the Zoom session, because I did this on my personal Zoom. So when I ended the Zoom session, it created these files. And it's the Zoom MP4 is audio and visual. And then the audio only MP4 is obviously only just audio.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so that's great. Because one of the things that we're going to have to do soon is to work with IT to create a website.
Yes, absolutely.
On a web page. So these kinds of things, I think, like for example, our application that we submitted to NSF should be on.
Right. Hang on right there. Let me stop you right there. Let me get this dog. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
1 second. Because he's eating stuff, and I don't know what he's eating. But he's got to stop eating. Stop. Come here. Get in the crate. Perfect. Get in the crate. Get in the crate. Right now. Get in the crate. Lay down. All righty, now then.
So Renee, so let me ask you a question. So we're sharing the screen.
Yes.
So what do you see? Do you see me on your screen, or do you only see the PowerPoint?
I see you off to my right, and I see the entire PowerPoint on my entire screen.
Okay, that's how I'm seeing it as well. So you and I are on my screen in a little screens to the right of the text. Okay.
So your face is in a small screen, and the PowerPoint is like huge. It's huge.
Okay. And the reason why I was asking is because, see, I'm wondering, for example, is when the students come on, let me do this here. When the students come on, should it be like that?
That looks really good.
See,
That way
because
they can't see the next slides.
as long as they can see us, I mean, because they don't need to see me like on big screen wise.
Right, right. They just need to see the
As long as
PowerPoint.
they can see who's speaking and everything,
Correct.
then okay, so I should leave it like this then, because I thought it was like really good to have this kind of banner, as it were.
Yeah, yeah. This is wonderful. This is great. Now I have
Okay.
to figure out how because as people come on, I'm gonna have to let them in, but this will show me at the bottom, I think, when to let people in.
So don't you see how many participants? Do you see that little icon at the
Yeah,
bottom?
I see that, and it's just you and I right now.
Right. So when you click on that.
Okay, I'm gonna click on that right now. Yeah, and it just says, I see the names, you and I see our microphones.
Yeah.
And it says invite, mute all, or more. So I can always invite
individual as people
yes.
are. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Wow. That takes a lot of attention.
Yeah, so I see that. So this looks great. I think we got it together. All we have to do now is get the people to come.
Yeah.
Now, I did get one email from one student that says he's attending another meeting. He's on the board and he cannot make our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got one other student who said that they would be present in our meeting. I thought they would all just sort of respond to me and say, yes, I'm coming. No, I'm not coming. But hopefully nothing means they're all coming. You know, I'm hoping that's the case.
We'll see.
We'll see in a minute, won't we?
Oh, wait a minute. So what happened? It took that thing a while to go. Yeah, we'll see. And it's kind of tricky because my thing is that if today is a reading day,
yes,
then they're
reading day for them.
nearby their computers and kind of in that mindset.
Hopefully they are on their computers and they are, you know, more or less studying.
Right. So they're not out at the club.
No. Because they have to use, well, you know, maybe they did just to get a, you know, mental break.
I know how that is.
And I'm like, okay, but I mean, in a pandemic, you can't really go out and party. You know what I mean? So maybe they probably just maybe stepped out a minute, you know, went to the nearest drive-through, picked up something to eat, and came back. Hopefully that's the case.
Right. But I mean, in any event, recording it is wonderful.
Yes.
And we also have if we could just send them this whole recording.
We certainly could. We certainly could. And they can just play it at their leisure whenever they want, you know, whenever they have time, they can just play it.
Right. Because the whole thing is that we have to really be fluid with COVID-19. And
we really do.
As you and I were talking the other night, ideally, we will all be in the room together and everybody will be feeling each other's energy and all those kind of things.
Correct.
So
and I know that I would have booked this lecture too tonight. So I know we would be there.
Yeah, right. So we have to find ways to fill in the gaps as best we can. And so if we don't have 29 students, I'm not going to take it personally. Like, oh, okay. We'll just try to reach out to them and if nothing else, send them the link to the recording.
Yes.
And tell them that from going forward, it's incumbent upon them to let us know when they're available.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, we're kind of starting that now because one of the things I think about, Renee, is in the earlier iteration of the HOP Scholars. I remember one of the challenges that we had is when the students were supposed to go for their summer internship. And I remember we were sending them down to Florida. And a lot of students said, oh, well, I want to go home. I don't want to do that, spend 10 weeks away from home. So one of the things that we have to do right up front is lay out what is the framework. Right. So the expectation is after your sophomore year, you'll be eligible to do a 10 to 12 week summer internship. Of course, COVID-19 makes that uncertain. But the thing is that we have to set the expectations early such that the students aren't saying, oh, well, I want to go home for summer. I don't want to do an internship.
Right. So we want to make sure that that's out there up front so they'll already know that this
Yeah.
is what is expected of them.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
they won't put anything else before that, hopefully.
No, I mean, or at least they will give some criticism. I mean, it's hard to
No, yeah.
kind of build a wall around the students, but the thing is, and I was thinking about this morning, and you and I were talking yesterday about the importance of measuring things.
Correct.
And so one of the challenges is that we're trying to create this somewhat innovative and unique learning environment for the students, but also there's a kind of, I'll call it the Morehouse thing that goes on, whether it's Crown Forum or whatever else is going on.
Right.
So how do you distinguish the impact of your program from some of these other things? That sounds like you have a visitor there.
I don't see them. Let me see. There's no other person trying. Let me see. Oh,
I thought I
I think there was an email coming into me. That's the sound that my emails make.
So anyway, I mean, those are the challenges as a research project. Those are the challenges that we have to, try to overcome. How do we distinguish between, kind of the brotherhood that goes on at Morehouse College versus the impact of our program?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what we can do is put those two things side by side and sort of compare and contrast them, maybe. Because there's this, like you said, this Morehouse, there's this mystique, and then there's, getting through our program so that you can matriculate through the college, in 4 versus 4.5, 5, 5.5. I've seen, in my 20 years, I've seen people take almost 10, 11 years to get out. And these were guys that, unforeseen stuff had happened to. They went to work, they stopped, they came back, they stopped again, they came back. So all of that. So we want them to, stay focused and get this thing done in 4. Meanwhile, doing all of their other Morehouse stuff, pledging of fraternity, running for SGA, whatever they wanted, whatever, getting to this. There are over 70 different organizations on the campus that you can be a part of, depending on what your major is or depending on what your interest is. So you're right, all this other Morehouse stuff versus getting this done and matriculating to the college with, a decent GPA for graduate school. That's the goal. So, yeah. Yeah,
and I mean, again, as long as we are consistently and constantly aware that while we might have empathy and a certain caring for the students, and that's really important, and it goes without question that there's care and love for the students. So we're all about that. That's not an issue.
We're definitely all about that.
But
that's no problem.
That's not useful in terms of demonstrating the effectiveness of the program.
Right.
So that's what we have to, in addition to our hearts and our, our spiritual grounding and all that stuff that goes in addition to that, we have to count stuff, And so that's the thing. If nothing else, and if the counts fall short, so be it. If this program doesn't have the impact that we expect it will have, so be it in a certain way. At least we will be able to demonstrate that these things didn't work.
Right. I think it will have the impact that we think it's going to have.
I'm sure. I'm sure of it. I mean, I'm not doubtful at all.
Yeah. So
we just have to be able to demonstrate it. So as long as we're capturing the data, then we'll be okay. And so that's the main thing. We're not just simply doing this because we love the students. We love the students, but we're doing this because it's a research project.
Yeah, because the data is very important.
Absolutely.
So we'll make that happen. Okay, I think that we're on the same page, sir.
I'm sure we are.
Okay. All right, so it is, I have 5:49. So I guess we have this 11 minutes. And I guess people will come in whenever hopefully they'll be on time. And that'll be another thing that I will try to stress to them, be on time.
Well, hopefully they're trying to impress us.
Yeah, so.
You know.
But I mean, this late in the day, hopefully they've cleared their schedules.
Well, and this late in the day, hopefully they even remember it.
Well, maybe I should have sent out a reminder. Should I have sent out a reminder earlier today? Because I sent that thing last night.
I thought about that, Renee, but then I thought about, no, look, I mean, come on, you're at Morehouse.
Yeah, well, okay.
I mean,
we'll see.
Right, so we'll see. And
we'll
then
see.
We'll move on.
And then if they don't come, then I'll say, you know what, in the future,
right.
when I call these meetings, I'm going to send out a reminder.
Right. So I mean, my thing is that you're a men of Morehouse, and so there's
time to grow up and know when you're supposed to be somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep telling you, okay, come.
Right. And so the thing is that they might have legitimate excuses. I had a conflict, but what we need to find out is what is the consensus on the best day and time. We just kind of picked today and then 6 p.m. So this may be totally terrible for the students, and we'll find out. But what they have to understand is that in order for this to be successful, because really what we're doing is we're setting out to try to develop a new and innovative way of teaching STEM students.
Correct.
And so the students, they may or may not be honored by that, but to me, it's like I was telling JK, we had 65 students and 29 of them, said they were interested. I was like, if I got that letter, and I was a freshman and I didn't know anybody, and I got a letter from 2 professors saying that I would like, Grandma,
program, I would have said, where do I sign?
Mom, look at
sign me up. That's the first thing I would have said. Where do I sign?
Well, I mean, but the thing is that the students would still, I had to consider that they still have legitimate reasons for saying no. So, for example, some of the students might be intimidated by the prospect of all of this. That's a legitimate feeling.
As freshmen, yeah, that is very legitimate.
Right.
You just left home. You're scared.
We have to deal with that. Some of the students may not be thinking about graduate school yet. That might be too early to introduce that, because JK really, his focus is always on graduate school. I'm kind of graduate school and career. And right. it doesn't mean that JK doesn't recognize the importance of career, but I think JK's commitment is really producing more professors, more researchers.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, if I know Dr. Haynes, he is pushing research all up and down.
Right.
And so, he wants this MD, PhD thing. Or PhD.
Right. And so that might be a little bit intimidating to some students. And so those are legitimate explanations.
As a freshman, that would be intimidating to me.
Yeah. And so
I haven't looked that far down. I haven't seen that far down.
Exactly. I'm just trying to get through the fall semester right now.
You just get what I want to do with myself. I just want to get through freshman year. So they haven't looked that far. I've seen that.
Right. So as wonderful as it seems to us, and as we can clearly see what the opportunity and advantage is. Again, we have to recognize. So to me, that's why out of the 65 possible students, we didn't get all 65, because some of them had legitimate reasons why this might not be right.
Well, that was a little under half. I think that's decent. A little under half.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, if they didn't know what this was and what to say yes to, I mean, yeah.
Right, but now check it out. If we were presenting it in person, we'd be so live and so energized that we would have recruited. I mean, that's how I see it. Just our energy and our excitement about it and our enthusiasm. Some of the students who didn't do it would have said, "Oh yeah, I want to. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I saw."
Well, you know what? My whole thought would have been the finances and helping my parents. And so, if anything talks to me about money getting me through, I would have said, "What do I say? Okay, this gonna be money. Oh, it's gonna be scholarship. Oh, really? But see, that's the first thing that would have got me, because knowing all the time that my mom and dad are selling everything out of the house and big bar is stealing anything I could do to help them get this done." I would have said, yeah, yes to this. And there's money in this. So, you know, to help me through college. So yeah, definitely I would not have been intimidated by that.
And JK and Dr. June Hops and us, we're trying to work the angle to even get additional funding for the students. So
Wow.
I don't know if you know or not, but they had a limit for this grant on the budget, which was $350,000
Wow.
for the whole 3
Okay.
years.
Okay.
And while that's not a small amount of money,
No.
but I mean, salary and benefits always take up the chunk of any budget.
Right.
And so you do what you can do. And so we had to scale back a lot of things that we had actually wanted to do. Even, for example, like Lana Rux and the external evaluators.
Right.
So for example, in the budget for them, I think it's something like $7,000 a year.
Right.
Which normally their budget
the same for the program
like
coordinator.
25,000.
Right. Right.
You know? And they'd be engaged in the meetings and they'd be doing all kind of things.
Yeah.
So I have to even like limit my engagement with them because they're going to be doing a lot of the data, you know, the statistical analysis.
Right.
So again, for $350,000 over 3 years, so that's $100,000 a year. That's not a lot of money.
No.
But I think that the importance of this project is one that for other funding agencies and donors and whatever, see, we could tell them, well, we have a fundable idea because after all, the National Science Foundation gave us $350,000. So we know our idea is fundable. So you could say that to Arthur Blank, you know,
yes.
or whoever.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's not just an idea. Oh, we think this is a great idea.
Right.
We're beyond that. You know, people gave us money for this idea.
Right. So yeah, definitely. And even a June Hops or, you know, a Warren Buffett or whoever the Chick-fil-A people are, whoever it would be, yeah, they would look to see that this was already a program that worked because it's worked prior to now. So.
Right. And then also NSF, they have, so this is a broadening participation research grant. NSF also has broadening participation research centers. Oh, I see a young man coming on there.
I see that, yes.
Oh, he's got his t-shirt on. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Colby.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. Thanks for hosting this meeting.
It's good to see you. So we'll wait a few minutes for other students to come in and hopefully we'll get started shortly.
Great. Are you a professor at Morehouse?
I am not a professor, but I have taught and I have actually been at Morehouse for more than 20 years. And actually I started the job when I had my son. My son is now a sophomore there.
Okay.
And he's 20 years old, so yeah.
That's nice.
People.
So Colby, where's your hometown?
I'm from Houston, Texas.
Wow.
Easton, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Houston, Texas.
So what brought you to Morehouse? What interested you about Morehouse that attracted you all the way from Texas?
My aunts, they received their doctorate degrees from Meharry Medical School.
Wow.
And they had a lot of classmates from Morehouse there, and it was basically the college that they wanted me to go to. So yeah, my aunts basically got me to go to Morehouse.
What about what you wanted, Colby?
I came to Morehouse because I wanted to go to an HBCU, and Morehouse is the best HBCU. So
That's
Oh, well, you
right.
got that right. Certainly got that
No
right.
doubt.
On
Absolutely.
your side. No doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
It looks like Bryce Bennett is on there. He doesn't have his video on. Bryce, can you hear us? Oh, there you go.
Sure.
Hey, Bryce.
Hi, Bryce. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Yeah, yeah. Great. I like the lighting in your room there.
Thank,
That's
thank
beautiful.
you.
How'd you get that done?
It
Wow.
was a lot of work. I had to get up there and just put it all around the room.
Let you come and do my house like that. Okay.
Definitely. Definitely. So Bryce, can you see Colby on the screen there? Your classmate there?
Yes, I can. What's up, Kobe? How you doing?
What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
Jelani just came in. Good evening, Jelani. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing fine. What about you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you, and thanks for logging in.
Let me see if I don't have on.
Okay, let me see if I can get Michael in here.
I got to figure out how I can get more people on the screen. Oh, I got it now. I see.
Got it. Michael might be. Good evening, Michael Thomas. Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can you put your video on so I can see you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. There he is. Hi, Michael.
Hey,
All
how are
right.
you?
You
Hey.
look like you got a spotlight on you, some kind of how there, like in the movie.
That's my lamp at the bottom.
Oh, that's
Yes.
okay.
All right.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
See you. Great, great, great.
All right. Everybody's doing okay?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir. Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Good.
Good.
Mhm.
So, gentlemen, I'm Dr. Terry Mills, and we're really excited to have you all join. We're going to wait just a few more minutes. We don't know how many of your brothers are going to be joining us, but there should be 29 of you online today. So we'll see how many show up. But just weigh in a little bit, just shout out anybody. What has the experience been like with COVID-19, and in terms of your expectation of your Morehouse experience versus the reality of now doing it remotely? How's that all been from a satisfaction point of view, an expectation point of view? Just tell me about how is all working.
Let me just start right quick just to say it would have been a billion times better in person.
Oh,
A
definitely.
billion. I mean, a billion times better for you guys, especially as freshmen. Because you would have got the whole gambit of being a freshman at Morehouse, and the electricity would have been off the chain. But anyway, so now we're in COVID and we're all virtual. So yeah, speak up. Tell me what's going on, guys.
Anyone, just tell us what's up.
Anybody, how are you feeling about going to school at home? Just how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'll start. Not gonna lie, it's been pretty challenging. Being on a computer all day can be a lot of draining, and just like I don't know, it's not. I mean, I knew it was not gonna be ideal because of COVID already in the first place when it happened in summer, and we got the message from the president that we couldn't go to campus. But I've learned a lot of things, but at the same time, it's been a challenging experience. Just trying to not just keep up with classes, but just the whole social aspect of, meeting the Morehouse brothers and, being on, I believe, Brown Street. I've Dr. Davis kept telling us about it. So we're just trying to, think about that and, kind of look towards that in the future, but it's been all right, Yeah.
Well, keep hanging on.
I agree. I think I had a lot of expectations for this semester. Most of them being like meeting new people in person and having some fun.
A regular college experience.
For sure, but that wasn't really feasible under these current conditions of COVID. So I'm trying to make it work, or I've been making it work, meeting new people, communicating through socials and Zoom. So I'm trying to have an adequate college experience. But of course, it won't be the same since we're not in person.
Well, I'll say that, you know, one of the things that we're hopeful, and of course, this project is challenged by COVID as well. You know, our whole original plan was that we'd have an on-campus experience, obviously. But I think the fact that we're challenged by COVID might result in a much more enriching experience, because now we have to be even more novel in how we approach this. But the whole idea about the John Hopps Scholarship, so you all of you all got like the very first communication that we sent out with some background information on Dr. Hopps. Did you all receive that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you all know that Dr. John Hopps is a very prestigious physicist. He's connected with Morehouse College, our former provost and vice president for academic affairs. You know that he was an assistant secretary at the Department of Defense. And so originally at Morehouse College, Dr. J.K. Haynes, Dr. Haynes won't be able to join us tonight. He's probably making some final exams for one of y'all that are online here. I don't know if you have his class, but he's working on his finals. But Dr. J.K. Haynes, well, let me do this. Can you all see the PowerPoint screen behind us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so because what I see on my screen, I see all of your images and I see the PowerPoint. So are your images blocking the screen, or is the screen clear to you? Unobstructed.
It's clear, sir.
Oh, okay, great. So let me start. So again, Dr. John Hopps was a very prestigious scientist, physicist. He contributed not only from the applied sciences point of view, but also as an academic scholar. So we have this research project that's named in honor of our Dr. John Hopps. And so in prior years, the Department of Defense had funded the John Hopps Fellows Program. And in that first iteration of the John Hopps Fellows Program, and this was like back maybe in the 1990s through the early 2000s, that the Department of Defense had sponsored the John Hopps Program. This project that we're working on is a research project. What it is that we're doing is we have a funded project through the National Science Foundation, the purpose of which is to figure out educational planning and educational design for undergraduate STEM majors, such that we help you to be more successful in your career fields or in advanced education, should you choose to go on to PhDs or degrees, or if you choose to go on to med school, or if you choose to go on to be a researcher like Dr. Haynes and I are academic scholarly researchers. So the purpose of the Broadening Participation Research Grant is to do just that, to broaden the participation, particularly for underrepresented students, and even more particularly for Black males, who out of all of the various demographic groups of STEM students and STEM career people, the Black male is the most underrepresented demographic in all of the STEM fields. So this National Science Foundation, the NSF Broadening Participation Research Grant, it's part of the NSF overall strategic plan to introduce innovative approaches such that through helping students to be more successful, we can then broaden the participation in the STEM field. Does that make sense? Somewhat?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So let me see here. I want to flip the page here. So what I just said is all of this about the National Science Foundation's strategic commitment to address the need to have more diverse representation in the STEM fields. And you see, for example, this first bullet, or the second bullet point rather, integrating research with education. So that's what our project is really kind of focusing on, the integration of research and education. So The 29 of you, our very first John Hopps Research Scholars, not only are you participants in this broadening participation research endeavor, for which the goal is to improve and enhance undergraduate STEM education. So not only are you participants and I'll say the subjects of interest, if I can put it in that way. So not only are you the subjects of interest, but also because of the activities and the programs and workshops that we have planned, you're also active participants in the construction of this thing, this research project. And so one of the activities that we are gonna have you involved in is this early immersion into research. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be in a lab pouring something into test tubes. It might mean, for example, that we introduce you to things like the ethics of research, and we'll learn about things like the Tuskegee studies, or it might be a reminder, a refresher to you of the ethics and the principles of research. But this might also, depending upon your interest and your academic performance, it also offers you the opportunity to have paid summer internships in national labs, for example, at Oak Ridge National Laboratories up in Tennessee. So the whole idea about the John Hopps Scholars Program is to, and let me change the screen, the whole idea is to develop a structure which enhances your experience at the university and thus enhances your ability to be successful in a STEM career or higher postgraduate work is what I was looking for. Wherever it is that you're trying to go, we're going to try to provide within the framework of the grant and the research project. We're going to try to provide you with the support and the opportunities to guide you in such a way that we can demonstrate, and that's really important, to demonstrate that what it is that we're doing is actually making a difference in your college experience. And so on this screen here, this is a little bit of who we are. So Dr. J.K. Haynes, he's a cell biologist, and Dr. Haynes is the past dean of your division of science and mathematics at Morehouse College. And Dr. J.K. Haynes' research interest is sickle cell anemia research. And if you do some research on Dr. Haynes, you'll find out that he's one of the quote unquote history makers. You'll find him out there on that website as the history makers. And so he's a very important researcher in the field of sickle cell anemia, but also he has spent his entire career devoted to helping STEM students to be successful. So this is not something that we're doing simply because we have this National Science Foundation grant. This is what we have been doing. This is our thing. Again, I'm Dr. Terry Mills. I'm a sociologist. So you say, well, why is a sociologist talking to STEM students? Well, one of the important ingredients of this broadening participation strategy that the National Science Foundation has is to be able to integrate the natural sciences with the humanities and social sciences. And the reason why there's that emphasis is because as STEM fields are growing and emerging, you need to have a broader, more diversified way of thinking about how to apply and how to communicate your skill and knowledge in the STEM field. So the National Science Foundation really encourages a consideration in terms of how do you integrate or interface the natural sciences with the humanities and social sciences in such a way that it enhances your STEM skills. So this particular grant requires that you have as your project directors a social scientist and a natural scientist to show you how the NSF associates the importance to it. It requires that combination. Be that as it may, Dr. Haynes and I have been colleagues, and he's like my slightly older big brother. So we've been hanging out for a long time. And so we spent a lot of years as colleagues. I was the past dean at Morehouse of the Division of Humanities and Social Sciences, and as well, I was the former dean of research and sponsored programs at Morehouse. And for many years, my entire career in academics, I have also been committed to mentoring and helping young people and students to be successful in life and in their academic careers. And then, of course, we have Miss Renee Calhoun, who is our project coordinator. So Renee, tell us a little bit about you and what you're all about.
Good evening, and thank you guys for coming. I have been administratively at Morehouse since year 2000, so that's about to go on 21 years. For 18 of those 21 years, I have been the executive assistant to Dr. J.K. Haynes. So I can more or less finish his sentences, but once you guys meet him, you will know what it is we are talking about in regards to him. So, and you'll meet him later. But I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. Been in Atlanta now for almost 29 years. So I may as well say I'm an Atlantan. But administratively, I've been doing this for a very long time. And what I've pretty much been doing is just trying to make sure that the students that I come in contact with, which are normally all of Dr. Haynes' students, get through Morehouse in 4 years. Hook or crook, whatever we have to do, we have to get them through. And most of them are pre-med, pre-pharmacy, pre-dental students. So hopefully that's what you guys are. And if so, all roads lead through Dr. Haynes' cell biology class. And so we'll meet again in that. But as project coordinator, I hope to get to know you guys extremely well, and hopefully you guys will get to know me, and I will be one of the go-to moms, quote unquote, for anything that you need to get you through. So hopefully we will meet very soon. We are very, very hopeful that next fall of 2021, we will actually be physically on campus. I hope that's the case. I'm praying really, really hard that that is the case, because we actually need to be physically there. But we're making the best of this virtual thing. So good to meet you, and hopefully we will see each other in person really, really soon.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, Renee, because I mean, we have so much love and energy from men at Morehouse that we have to, give this.
We got to be there. We got to be there for you. We can't, I can't touch you. I can't hug you on the screen. So
it's not the same
yeah.
on Zoom.
But
so anyway, thank you, Renee. So anyway,
yeah.
Gentlemen, so I gave you this background on what the National Science Foundation strategy is, and what your team, your support team, what our credentials are in terms of our ability and our credibility to help you on your way to achieve your own success. More specifically, for our project, we are specifically doing these things. We are trying to establish an innovative approach to undergraduate STEM education, as I mentioned earlier. We are working to enhance the STEM teaching and learning experience, and those things are going to go together. You will be learning and teaching in collaboration with the faculty partners that we're establishing now. And then ultimately, to be able to demonstrate how this innovative approach contributes to student success and overall support. So when you get this kind of funding, really, if all of this works out, the whole idea is that we would then have a paradigm or a model for other institutions for how they might go about enhancing and improving their undergraduate STEM education. So that's what this is really about. And of course, while we're working to enhance and improve it at Morehouse College, the endeavor is greater than just Morehouse College. The endeavor as a research endeavor is to have a model such that other institutions might be able to adopt elements of it or the thing in its entirety. So in that regard, brothers, y'all are pioneers in terms of innovative approaches to STEM undergraduate education. So if it makes sense to you, I should probably say congratulations. Okay, so how were you selected? How is it that we figured out that you all should be part of the honorific of being a Johns Hopkins Research Scholar? So you remember taking the College Student Inventory, the CSI? Y'all remember taking that? Oh, you don't remember taking it? Well, one of probably several surveys that you might have taken during new student orientation or whatever, but one of which was the College Student Inventory. And so we use the College Student Inventory, and basically the College Student Inventory looks at cognitive and non-cognitive factors that are associated with first-year students' success. And so it talks about whether students are receptive to certain types of institutional support, certain characteristics that students show that would suggest that you would be receptive to the kind of support program that we have here with the Johns Hopkins Research Scholar. So the College Student Inventory was the thing that we used to identify you all as the pool of students that we wanted to recognize as Johns Hopkins scholars, and that we wanted to partner with you all because we felt that you all had the kind of profile based upon the College Student Inventory that would work for what it is that we're trying to do, the goals that we have of establishing innovative educational practices for undergraduate STEM education. As I said previously, you all are the first 29. There were actually, in your cohort of first-year students, there were actually 65 students that we identified that had the criteria that we thought was suitable. But you all were the 29 who kind of took the challenge and stepped up and said, oh yeah, you answered back to us, yes, you'd like to be. So you all you remember that email where you actually replied to us, yes? So you all are the first 29 out of 65 of your brothers from this year who could have been in this program. Our goal is to have 100 students that participate in this program. So next year, we hope to add 71 more. The difference though is that y'all are the first 29. So y'all will be like the seniors, you know, and you'll be able to, in many ways, guide and help to form the community that we're establishing here. You'll have the experience of having gone through it. So to be the first of what is this very important research project, I think that's something that you could pop your collar. I don't know if that still is what happens, putting your chest out. I don't know what it is now, but you can do that because you all are the first 29, okay? So congratulations. So some of you remembered the College Student Inventory, some of you did not remember it. However, if you would like to go over your responses and have me help you to understand how the survey works, send me an email or send Ms. Calhoun, send Renee an email and tell us when a good time is for you to have a Zoom meeting with me. And I will bring up your College Student Inventory. I will help you to understand what it says, and then I'll provide you with a copy of it. I don't want to give you a copy of it just to send it to you on email because then you wouldn't know how to interpret it. But after we have a Zoom meeting and I help and I explain it to you, I'd be more than happy to then just send you a copy of it. So if you'd like to do that, and it might be helpful, but if you don't do it, we're using that information to kind of shape how we communicate with your academic advisors, and we haven't really gotten to that point yet, how we mentor and advise you. We're using that information to specifically tailor what we do, not only to the group, but also to you as individuals in terms of what the College Student Inventory suggests about your first year college experience. And I've had I've used the College Student Experience Inventory previously. I've had like maybe 5 or 6 years of experience using it. And so it's a very good indicator of what the first year experience will be. So again, if you'd like to have me go over that with you and then you have a copy of that for yourself, I'd be happy to do that. Just email us and we'll put that in order. So here's the plan. Starting in the spring, you're going to begin to work with our interdisciplinary linked course faculty. So keep in mind that we have this innovative approach to STEM education. So Dr. J.K. Haynes and I, we've been communicating with a few faculty around campus, trying to find the right matches. So most recently, we've been talking to Professor Tawana Lamar in the math department and Professor Aaron Carter-Ng in the music department. Both of them do some like really, really innovative, exciting education around mathematics with Dr. Lamar and music with Dr. Carter-Ng. So what we're doing is we're trying to identify faculty partners and courses that you would normally take. So we're not going to introduce some new courses to add on to what you already have to take. What we're doing is we're looking at the general education curriculum. So for example, Dr. Aaron Carter-Ng, he teaches courses like Music 114, I believe. So when you get around in general ed courses to having to pick a humanities course, for example, Music 114 is one of those courses that you would be picking from. So what we're doing is we're trying to put together faculty in the humanities and social sciences with faculty in the natural sciences to teach courses for which you would be teaching them automatically, or taking them automatically. The difference though, is that the two faculty are working together and that there's some kind of thematic theme, some theme that's holding those two courses together. You as students are going to be working, or I'll say it this way, not as students, you as research trainees, I'll put it that way, will be working with the faculty to develop the assignments, projects, whatever. And so the whole idea is to help you to enhance your ability to communicate your STEM knowledge across different disciplines. That's the whole idea. So you say, well, why math and why music? So if you broke it down on a very basic level, see, math studies patterns. For those of you who are mathematicians and gurus around it, so math studies patterns. Music produces patterns. So whether they're chord progressions or whatever, whether they're octaves, fifths, whatever. So if you thought about music and math, why they go together because there's this concern about patterns and the representation of patterns. So I know that Dr. Carter-Ng, he's all off into computer stuff. And I know one of the projects he had the students doing was something like selecting the top 100 hip hop songs of the last decade, and then doing something to justify and rationalize how that, and I'm probably not doing any justice to it, so let me just not even go off into that. But I'm so excited about that combination and others. And I have a note here that says, this meeting has been upgraded by the host and now include, oh, okay, thank you. So that's just one possibility. Are you all familiar with the Black Ink Project at Morehouse? Have you all been introduced to that yet? Oh, so there'll be surprises. So Dr. Nathan Normant is his name. He's the director of the Black Ink Project. And so the Black Ink Project is a project at Morehouse that basically introduces the idea of writing across the curriculum, but the Black ink part of it is that writing across the curriculum is involving some element of Black culture. So for example, in the sciences and math, it might be a focus on a Black cell biologist, and again, I'm just kind of making that up off the cuff. So we're also working with Dr. Nate Norman to integrate some aspect of writing. So it might be like English 102, for example, and some other class. So in this project, we will develop 2 kind of introductory courses and also 2 intermediate or advanced courses. You all, as hot scholars, will be required, asked to take 2 of those 4 courses, 1 introductory linked course and 1 introductory, intermediate, or advanced course. And so let me change this screen. So that's your, what's going on? Does that make sense so far, guys? Okay.
Yes.
So I think you also received a communication that talked about your sacrifice and what you have to give up to be a hot scholar versus the benefit. So straight up, each year, annually, you'll receive a book stipend of $325. I don't know how many books you can buy, maybe a half a biology book or something.
Yes.
Something like that. So it's not going to get you the Lambo or anything like that, but it will help. And so you'll get that annually. And so probably, since we didn't do it in the fall, we'll probably try to arrange to have you get that for the this next spring semester. So we'll work on that. In terms of your sacrifice, let me go to this next screen. I think, yeah, here. So our plan has these 2 elements to it. I talked a little bit about this down here, the interdisciplinary learning community. And so again, you'll take 1 introductory class and you'll take 1 intermediate class, but we're going to develop 4 total classes, okay? 2 in each category. The other part of the program is up here, these what we call STEM opportunity structures. So the first opportunity structure that you're going to encounter is when we regroup in the spring with Dr. Tawana and Dr. Carter Ng, and they're developing their link course. You all are going to be working with them to develop the themes and the projects or whatever the assignments, whatever for that course. You see here that your commitment, your time commitment is 3 60-minute sessions. So that's 3 hours every semester for these kind of situations. That's not a lot. Concurrent with that, however, are these workshops that'll be going on. So in these workshops, there might be presentations. So for example, Dr. Haynes and I might give some presentations. Oh, and I should mention that even as a sociologist, in my research is on the social aspects, the social determinants of health. So in my research, I collaborate with many of my colleagues come from the STEM fields, physicians, clinicians, other people. So my research is health focused, but I look at the social aspects of health. I didn't say that earlier. So, but I said that to say that here on the workshops, it might be Dr. Haynes and I giving you a workshop on some aspect of research, and it might not necessarily be something going on in the lab with a test tube. It might be ethics research. It might be other things that are important to you to know about being in the science and technology and STEM field. But you'll have about 6 hours of those workshops each semester. So your total opportunity structure commitment is like 9 hours a semester. And for those of you who are mathematicians or prone to doing numbers, 9 hours out of the semester would be like about 20% of a class, right? So one class in the semesters, I think is like about 41 or 42 hours. So if you had a class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, something like that. So I think if I've done this correctly, I think your investment is something like 20% of a class. So if you think about it, if any of you all do cycling or exercising or whatever, so like if you think that you're gonna put the tension up a little bit, but not a whole lot, it's only like 20%. But you know that you're gonna get a better cardio workout, and in this case, you're getting a better mental and intellectual workout. Your metabolism is improving because a little bit of tension, but we're not gonna put you up to the point where your heart is gonna explode, but we're gonna ask you to commit something such that you're invested in what it is that we're trying to assist you to achieve your goal. So we didn't want to overburden you. We didn't want to add extra courses which wouldn't go towards your degree and add extra tuition dollars, all those things. So we didn't want to do that. So any of the courses that you will take in the Link Learning community, as I said earlier, will come from courses that you might have already taken. But I will say one difference is probably that we will choose the courses for you because we want you all to move to be in these courses together. So we might say, okay, for the HOP scholars, the Link course is Music 114, whatever, and Calc 2, whatever. And I'm just kind of making those up. And then all of y'all will be in that class. So that's the idea. And again, the idea is to develop a community. Oh, did I mess that up? Oh, I think. Okay. So that's kind of what the plan is. And again, because of COVID-19, we're having to kind of be fluid and flexible on how we do it. And we would really, really have wanted to do this in person. Be that as it may, we're doing it this way because this is the real and how it is right now. So keep in mind that our goal is to facilitate your success as STEM students and STEM. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to call you STEM students. I want to call you STEM scholars. So somebody asked me, well, Dr. Mills, why the distinction? Somebody asked me that. Please, somebody ask me, why am I making the distinction?
Dr. Mills.
Are
Why
you making
are
this
you making this
distinction?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to make this distinction. And so I'm going to make this up kind of right now. And so this is for you all, the 29. To me, a student is a passive learner. A student would come up to me after getting the syllabus and ask me a question like, oh, Dr. Mills, do I have to read chapter 2? So to me, a student is a passive learner. But also to me, a scholar is an active learner. So when Dr. J.K. Haynes or Dr. Terry Mills or Miss Renee Calhoun gives you some guidance and some direction about something, and that we've told you about our background and credentials, and you could Google us, you could, so we don't have to make up stuff. If we're giving you guidance and we say that these are things that are important to your development and your success, then we're going to expect that you come through. But we're your partners. We're not like some dictators or whatever. We do this because we love students, okay? I didn't say this, but I'm retired. So Dr. Haynes called me like maybe two years ago, I think it was, Renee, when Dr. Haynes first called me, and 2 years ago, and we started talking about how do we reestablish the John Hop Scholars Program. So we've met with the president. This has been a process of 2 years. We applied to the Natural Science Foundation, and that's a competitive grant. So they didn't just give us money. We had to write a grant, and we competed against other universities trying to get that opportunity. So it's really exciting to have you all as our first 29 of this first cohort of students. But as I said, our thing is that we just care about students, and we have decades of credentials and the evidence of our commitment to working with students and working with young people. But we need your 20% that you're going to put in such that we're partners in this endeavor to achieve your success. So I'm going to stop there. Any questions? You all, any thoughts or comments, anything that you'd like to share with us?
Anybody?
One question.
Mm-hmm.
For the interdisciplinary courses, you said there were multiple courses between our gen ed courses.
Yes, and so when we come up with the final set of the 4 courses that we will take, they will come from the general education map. So if you guys are familiar with it, and if you're not familiar with it, then you should revisit that. But whatever courses that we come up with, Zion, they will come from that map. So we're going to be kind of like your academic advisors when it comes to those linked courses. So for example, if you went to Natasha, and Natasha is your academic advisor, yes, James? That name sounds familiar?
Natasha Crosby, have you guys met online with Dr. Natasha Crosby?
Yes,
Right. So Dr.
Yes.
Crosby,
Okay.
so Dr. Crosby would be advising you, and we're working with her as well. So she would be advising you on, oh, these are the classes that you need to take now at this point in time. So we're looking at the general ed map. And again, we're not creating additional courses that are special for you. What's special about the courses that you'll sign up with is that the faculty are working together, and you're working with the faculty to begin to develop, I'll say, the best practices, as it were, on educating undergraduates who are STEMs majors. So some of it is gonna, we might stumble, but it's I don't want to say it's not an experiment, it's research. And so our research is educational research to look at what are the elements of a program of support that yield positive outcomes for STEM students.
Correct.
That's kind of what we're doing. So again, you're not only the subject, though you're not only the ones we're interested in, you're also part of the creators of it. And so this is like the early introduction to your research experience. Just me explaining to you, or to begin to explain to you how you got into the sample, why we chose you, what the goals are. This is the beginnings of us having you think not as students, but as scholars. So here's what I want you all to do. If I ever slip up and refer to you all as students, would y'all please check me and say, no, Dr. Mills, we're scholars. Get that right now. Don't be calling us students. The students are those other people,
Yes, sir.
right? Because I might slip up. And, I might slip up sometimes, and go off into a zone. So y'all put me in check, all right?
yes, sir. Got you.
Okay, so I don't have anything else to add. Renee, how about you? So Renee, so you're going to be sending them the next time we're going to have a Zoom meeting, which is going to be sometime after the spring semester ends?
Exactly. And what I'd like to know, well, I guess you won't know until you get your schedules for next semester. But what I would like to know is what is the best meeting time. So once you guys get your schedules, I know our meetings will be in the evening, like beginning 6-ish or 5 or 6. But anyway, I just need to know the best days, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. I don't want to do an evening meeting on a Friday, just because I don't want to do an evening meeting on a Friday, and I know you guys don't want to either. So we'll begin to establish what a good meeting time is, which evening a good meeting time, and we will have regular Zoom meetings at that time next semester. Mr. El Amin, please pronounce your first name, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It's Iksan. Iksan Alamin.
Iksan Alamin. Okay. Alamin. Iksan. Okay. I was going to say Ishan, but I was going to be so totally wrong. Iksan. Okay. Does that mean anything? Like,
Iksan, yeah. It's an Arabic word. It's supposed to mean like perfection and excellence, like religiously.
oh, great.
Cool.
Okay. That is so cool. Isn't that cool?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Nice name.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it. Thank
that's a nice name.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sorry, Renee, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just, if you have anything else, I was just going to wind down, but no, go ahead if you're not finished.
Go ahead and wind down. I was just trying to take pretty much a roll to see who all had joined us, and I just could not pronounce that name. And so I said, well, as my mother used to say, if you don't know something, you need to ask. So, and that goes to you guys too. There are no questions that are dumb questions or off the wall questions. If you do not have information, always ask someone, because knowledge is power, and the more knowledge you have, the more powerful you become. So that's my first statement to you, and I'll have a whole lot of those sayings as we go through. But anyway, that's one of the top ones. So thank you all for coming. And
Yeah.
Dr. Mills, if you want to wrap up, wrap up.
No, it's good. So brothers, it's good to see you all, and do well on your final exams. And so, well, I was going to say safe travels home, but you're already home.
You're home already. Who does that?
Enjoy your time, and I'm sure that next week you're going to probably want to stay in bed a little bit longer.
So, definitely.
All right, now take care.
Take care. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you. Thanks,
Good to
guys.
meet you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Renee.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was great.
That was great.
Mm-hmm. So I saw 7. Is that what you had counted?
What I have 7 and I make
excuse me?
9, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead, Kobe.
I'm sorry.
So I'm a computer science major,
Yes.
and from what I was getting from this, it's sort of like is this going to be more tailored towards medicine, or well, my major?
Oh, no.
No,
not
it's going to be tailored to what you're doing.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Each one of you are doing.
So that's what we're trying to do right now, Colby, to make it such that it's kind of generic.
Right.
So no, it's not. No, we're talking about STEM students.
STEM
So
students, yes.
no, don't fret. Don't fret.
Yeah.
All right.
We've got computer science in there too. You're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, but thanks
Thank
for the
you all.
question, though. Yeah. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Have a nice night.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too. Yeah,
Okay.
that
That was wonderful. It
Yeah.
was only 7. I don't know what happened to the other 22, but that's okay because we'll eventually see now that we know that it's reading time. It's reading period. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I've got these 7 right here, and I have them down for the first Zoom meeting. So now our next Zoom meeting for the hops, of course, will be next semester. And so final exams are Monday through Thursday of next week. After that, we probably don't do anything else as far as, getting in touch with campus until February the 1st. So it's a long time between next week and February the 1st, even though there will be lots of faculty meetings and, other type of Zooms, state of the college Zooms, et cetera, et cetera. But of course, you and I can keep in touch whenever, however, so we can be talking this up and getting it right. And of course, Dr. Haynes will be on with us as well. So I'm not, that's not going to be a problem. It just seems so long between the time that, spring semester does not start until February 1st. First day of class is February 1st. Wow. So between November and February 1st, that's a long time to be sitting down. But I mean, we're actually, going to, I think we have like 1 week. No, we have 12 days at Christmas. So we have 12 days at Christmas, but so the college is open and everybody is still coming to work, et cetera, on virtual, doing what they do. But it just seems that, Thursday of next week and February 1st is just, that's a long time between.
Yeah. So I don't know about like any possible activities, but we could certainly find ways of being engaged with the students.
Exactly.
So I was thinking, for example, because JK had asked me before, he says, oh, well, do you think that we should have Dr. June Hops at our first meeting? And someone said, well, no, because that might just be a little bit of a distraction.
Yeah.
But, as opposed to telling them what the charge was. But what we can do, June has a wonderful a CV bio. So maybe somewhere in between that, we can put together a little profile.
I would much rather them see her in person.
Oh, no, absolutely.
By the time we come back, hopefully they will.
Oh, yeah, to see her in person. But so not as a substitute.
No.
As a prelude to.
But as absolutely.
Yeah. So here are the people that are supportive of this endeavor. You got Dr. Haynes, Dr. Mills, and Dr. June Hops, who in her own right, she's not just his wife.
Yeah, she's
a giant.
She's the reason for the whole thing. Yes.
So. Right. And so yeah, not in lieu of her.
Oh, no, not in lieu, but in addition to.
Yeah, this is what's coming in the spring semester. And so maybe even we could have a profile of Dr. Carter Ng and Dr. Lumar, Once we finalize that agreement, we can,
Right.
you know, maybe describe to the students, oh, here's a brief description of what the class is going to be.
Dr. Lamar and I are in touch just about almost every day. We are actually Alpha Kappa Alpha SARS.
Oh, cool.
And she and I talk quite often. We talk 2-3 times a week, every week. And we have been, you know, since our Soror Kamala was chosen as the vice presidential hopeful. So,
go ahead and drop your collar, girl.
Hey, we're over the moon. We are over the moon. We galvanized the entire Divine Nine to make sure that this thing would happen. And not only that, but, you know, with the efforts of Stacey Abrams to turn this state blue was just like a huge to do. It was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Not putting politics in the Hop Scholars, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, so I talk a lot with Dr. Lamar, and you know, she and I will be chatting about how she's going to do with our Hop Scholars as well. So, and of course, we'll bring them into our Zoom meetings, our people Zoom meetings versus our students.
Yeah. And see,
Okay.
I think that we'll have plenty of activities to report to them. And
I think we will.
The main thing is just staying engaged with them so that they're not saying, oh, well, we haven't heard from them. So they don't really
we want to keep, if we have to just keep sending weekly emails or bi-weekly emails or emails through the holidays, just to see what they're doing and how they're doing, that would, you know, that would be great. I wish we could have an over the holiday Zoom meeting just to see how their finals were or what their first GPAs are.
I mean, we could put it out there because I mean that would be kind of you know, supporting them, showing an interest in their progress and everything.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
I mean, if we get their preliminary GPAs, then we'll know how to gauge and go forward. I mean,
Speaking of GPAs, I've been thinking about, I'm going to make a little bit, I'm going to call it a map of the student records that we will ultimately need. So for example, we might need records, some records from admissions. For example, is the student Pell eligible, financial aid status, demographic stuff. Banner. We're going to need, do y'all still have Banner? Is that the system that y'all use?
Yes, but the Banner, the Banner just has their personal stuff, their hometown.
And their student grades.
Yes.
So again, we would need something from admissions, and of course the academic information from Banner. When I was talking with Natasha Crosby, she had mentioned that the students, their preliminary test that they get, placement test, for math and whatever, some other
foreign language. I think it's
not so much the foreign language one, because it was kind of, but definitely the math placement. So Natasha had said, she had mentioned a faculty person, I forget who kind of oversees that data. So my point is that the data are going to come from several places, at least the admissions, registrar, and then whoever supervises the math placement test. At least those places, maybe others as well.
Okay. All righty. Well, we got
you held it to 42 minutes and 17 seconds.
You know what? That was, and then they were going to give us an extension, right? They asked it, I want it, so I clicked yes, I want the extension. So yeah, I guess with Morehouse, since I'm using the Morehouse Zoom, if we run into 40 minutes, I think they go ahead and extend it out. So I think that's going to be okay. Yeah. But I think this was successful, even though there's only 7 of them.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
But I think it was great. And your PowerPoint was great. So, okay, let's do more. And hopefully I will see you soon, sir.
Okay, so when you look for that file, when your recorded audio video file, look for that somewhere, and then send it to me when you find it.
I certainly will.
Okay, Renee. Thank you. Okay. Take care. Yeah.
Take
bye.
care. Bye. Good to see you.
You too.